Hey there, YouTubers. It's been a couple days. I got a bunch done. Kind of left you hanging there for a little bit, but I kind of had some camera problems, so I'll kind of catch you up here. What's going on? So first, I said that or I left you off, and I was gonna mount the sway bar on. So I got that all mounted on that night. Got new bushings. You see him up in there. Got new bushings, the new links. Well, they're actually the old links, but I put new bushings in the links. Greased everything, anti-seized everything. I didn't tighten down these links yet. I'm gonna wait until the body and everything's fully assembled. All my leaf spring shackles and all them bolts and stuff are all still loose. So when I get the weight and it fully assembled, I'll tighten up all that stuff. So I did that, and then like I said, I mounted all my shock bolts on, got everything tightened up, and then I went on to the fuel line. So I ran a new fuel line, used some of the existing holes for clips, and then I put some stainless steel self-tappers in for a couple extra. And then you see I got a hose clamp there on that fuel filter. I wanted to put a fuel filter in there. I know that there's one in the car, but I know that there's some things in this tank. I had the tank open. I cleaned up, looked at the sending unit, resealed the sending unit. I saw there's a little rattle to it. There's a couple things in the bottom I couldn't get out. So I wanted to put an inline filter in there. So I got a hose. I got a filter, and then you can see I got a hose clamp there. I actually tacked that onto the frame, so that clamps on there real tight. And then you can tighten that filter in there. And then there's actually a notch in the frame there that I actually used. So that little lip of that filter sits in there. So it sits in there fairly square. I was thinking I was going to have to put a little piece of plate here, and then weld the plate to the frame, and then weld the clamp to the plate to kind of space it off so it wouldn't be all kitty-wapped or anything. But no, that little notch there fit really well. So that's how I did it. Set back behind the skid plate a little bit, so if there's any shit or anything coming up, sticks, branches, or if I'm off-road for a little bit, it should keep it clear from this, because I don't see anything coming back the other way to hit that. So we'll give that a whirl. If it doesn't work, I can move it around. And then I ran it. The old fuel lines are going to be like that brake line where they came up into the body and then went back to the frame. I just kind of thought that looked obnoxious. So when I ran this new rubber line, you can't get a rubber line to come out and around here. So I ran it tight to the frame. I got a clearance from the shock, but I don't think that's going to rub because the top part of the shock here doesn't rub or doesn't move or anything. It's this lower part that goes up into the upper part of the shock. So I don't think that's going to rub through. I'll keep an eye on it. But I also did it with the vent lines over here too. I ran it right in between there. But it's not rubbing up against it. I got a little air gap between there, and I got it secured pretty well. So here I got a clamp up here, I got a clamp down here, and over here I got this clamp here. I got them zip tied together, and I got this clamp here. So they're not moving around all that much. So like I said, so I ran the fuel line into the fuel tank, ran the two new vent tubes off of here. Nice little notch out here. I put both clips in, ran them through there, ran them along the frame, zip tied them on this pre-bent brake line just to clear this emergency brake cable mount there. So when I got a new cable, that's going to be one of my next projects. That clears that. And then I just ran them up this far. Got some big long tails here. Kind of wait until the body's on. I got the firewall. I can mount those maybe somewhere along there. One of them goes to this canister. I know that mounts right on the firewall. And then the other one goes right up to the carburetor. Where do we got it? Goes up to the carburetor. I've seen it. I promise you, I've seen it in there. That's all kind of a fiasco up there, but I kind of left everything hooked up to the motor and plopped everything on top of the motor. So when the frame and when the fenders are mounted and the firewall is mounted and the front grille is mounted, a lot of this stuff just sort of folds out onto the fenders and stuff and mounts up. It looks like a mess now, but I have a feeling when I get everything mounted, everything's just going to sort of fall into place. So then when I ran these vent lines, I wanted to know how this brake line ran along the frame here, where it clips to, so then I can sort of, in some instances I clipped them together, but I clipped the fuel line separate here, I clipped them together here. I wanted to know where everything was going, so I busted open my big box of pre-bent brake lines and started laying them in, and I was very impressed in how they laid in. They were bent in a couple spots where they didn't need to be, just so they fit into the box, but everything was pre-bent enough that I didn't have any existing brake lines here, and I really didn't have a clue what they look like because it was a while since I took them off. So everything was bent enough where I knew what line was going where and how it was going. I had to straighten out a couple things, like in this corner it goes under here. I had to rebend this a little bit and rebend this a little bit so it stayed nice and tight. Just stupid stuff like that. I had to rebend this around the differential just to make it fit nicer. But it wasn't bad at all. I was very impressed with the kit. And it was like $100 and some, $110. For the time that it saved to get this pre-bent kit, it was well worth it. Highly recommended. So I mounted all them brake lines on, and then I threw the muffler in here and the tailpipe, which I fabbed up. A new hanger there. This is actually banding strap. And I doubled it back here and doubled it back here, drilled a hole, put a bolt in there. I'll snug it up when everything is in. But I made that mount. And then I made this mount because when I chopped off this back part of the frame, I lost the mounting location. So I ended up putting a bolt here. And then when I clamp everything else up, the mid pipe and then off the exhaust manifold, this will all sort of square up when it clamps up. And then I made this hanger out of a muffler clamp, and then I bent the bolt. It goes right through the hanger. I think it's going to work real nice. I just wanted to mock it up in there to see how everything was going to line up. Very impressed, very happy with how that was. I welded the tailpipe onto the muffler. I would like to have clamped it. Didn't happen. I took the I'm not going to run a catalytic converter. There's no post O2 sensor to the catalytic converter. So I have a mid pipe. It's going to go in here, new, and then I have the old pipe that comes off the exhaust manifold, and that's going to get all clamped together. So I got all that stuff. So what else did I do? I mounted that. I mounted all these. These are all new flex hoses. Had to find new clips, hose clips. That was kind of a bitch, but I found them. So I got new clips up here, these new soft lines here, new soft line on the other side. Getting ready to get the calipers put on, and then the brake lines that go up to the front. Didn't mount those yet, but I got everything in the back here, I think, pretty much buttoned up. I just figured the only thing is when I put it on there, the body on, I'm going to have to take these off here real quick. And then you could see down in there, I got the ground and then the little spade connector for the sending unit. So when I drop the body on, I'll take those hoses off real quick and I'll throw the harness on there. And then let's see if there's anything else. Ran this soft line, just clipped it in there with the new clip, and then this is a new caliper, one of the new calipers I just wanted to see, so I painted it, primed it and painted it, so I got it hanging here drying right now. So that's going to be the passenger side one, so I'm going to get that all ready to go. I got new pads in there, new clips. These are the banjo bolt fittings. These are the old ones. I wire wheeled them, and then I put some, the only rust was on the head. This stuff's pretty clean down there, so I wire wheeled them, and I put a little rust inhibitor on them. Pretty happy with that, so I'll throw a little bit of black paint on them or something, and that's what I'm going to use. But I do have new washers. There are new washers that come with that. I'm going to have to clean. The ceiling surfaces aren't painted, but the edges are painted, so I'll clean them off. But I think that's it. I'm running a little longer than what I normally do here. Well, there's real no normal because this is only my third video. But there was a couple other things I wanted to show you, but I'll save for another video. A couple little custom things that I made. But you guys are going to have to stay tuned in to see what else I have custom fabbed up for this. But with that, I think I'm going to take the rest of the weekend off. Well, today is Sunday. I'm going to have myself a beer and sit down on the lazy boy. It sucks. The Packers lost against Arizona. So all you Arizona fans, good luck. But Packer fans are done for the rest of the year. So that just gives us more, well, maybe not more, but another excuse to drink. So with that, we'll see you guys later. And stay tuned, and I'll show you some more later. Bye.